Diary of a Mid-30s Girlie.
Starts right now.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to Diary of a Mid-30s Girlie, the podcast for the last bitch in her friend group to get her shit together. I am super excited for today's episode because I've been obsessed with this topic of late. And since we don't have any housekeeping life updates, I'm just gonna get straight into it. Today's topic is you don't need to stomp on the gas. You need to let your foot off the brakes. In other words, you need to get out of your own damn way. I see you. You are trying really hard. I know because I've been there. And if you feel like you keep spinning in circles regardless of how hard you keep trying, it's because while you're stomping on the gas, you're probably also revving on the brakes. So you are just revving the engine and wearing it down, meaning yourself, but you're not getting any closer to where you want to be. I know there are plenty of us who still derive our value and self-worth from how much we are doing. And so it just really sucks when you're someone like me, to be honest. You've ADHD and you want to do so much, and yet you have found yourself time and time again to not really do any of it, and you're exhausted regardless. And so when I was trying to overcome this, it's still a work in progress, don't get me wrong, but at the worst of it, I was watching hours and hours of productivity YouTube videos a day, looking for the answer, looking for the cure to my laziness, looking for how to get motivated. And I finally come to learn I am not lazy. You are not lazy. I've used the example of me wanting to be a YouTuber for so long, so let's try something else. Let's say you're an aspiring musician. You're inherently motivated to create music. So if you're not doing it, it's because there's something standing in your way. Number one, declutter your distractions. What do I mean by this? I'm using the example again of how I want to be a YouTuber, but for a long time was unable to make YouTube videos. There were a number of reasons, but a more surface level yet valid excuse that I had to not work on my YouTube videos was that I needed to, yes, clean, but mostly declutter the house. Those open tabs, they never go away. And they would bug me so much that I felt like I couldn't make a video unless I was able to declutter and get rid of stuff, because that was something that made other parts of my life very difficult. A desk, great place to do work. I couldn't use it for the longest time because it's cluttered with mail, with I also kind of do my makeup up here sometimes. So it's there's stuff everywhere. And so I constantly have this feeling of God, I really need to get that set up so that I can start doing things. And that's true, but it's almost more true that what's a good way to say thought weight? The weight of that, or the RAM that open tab in my brain was using just drained me of any ability I had to work on my videos, Maybe for you thrive in chaos. Maybe it's very exciting to you. Whatever your biggest distraction is, you need to declutter it. To be honest, I actually think that pretty much everyone with ADHD should strive for some form of minimalism. It's not that minimalism does it for me. In fact, it's quite the opposite, but I've said this before, I need the peace that peaceful surroundings bring, because this chaos, you know what I mean? If your stuff is distracting you, which it probably is. There's this book called The Silent To-Do List, which I haven't read it, but concept is everything that you own is telling you to do something. That stuff drains on your energy, even if you're not doing it, even if you're just thinking about it. Think about it. Cognitive energy is the most expensive energy that we have. And when you are running those tabs all the time, it's bad. I haven't finished decluttering, but in the last couple months, Gabe and I have gotten rid of a lot, especially this last move that we had. And even though I'm not done with it, I cannot tell you how much it has helped me. And in fact, maybe you've seen it. I have been way more consistent on here recently than I have in the 4 years that I had this channel. Just saying. Now, a caveat, do not go the Marie Kondo route. Love that woman, respect her. I appreciate everything that she stands for. I believe in thanking things as you give them away or whatever. But as far as do it all in one go, do not. You will run out of dopamine, and then you will be living in chaos, and that will become too stimulating and too overwhelming. One drawer at a time, baby. One drawer at a time. David Allen from Getting Things Done is a page out of his book. Kinda. He had that whole thing about you need in baskets or whatever. I made this thing on my Notion. I'll show you sometime if you want. called an open tab inventory. It is separate from my task list because not all of these things are action items. They're just all the things that I'm thinking about that are taking up cognitive energy. And a thing can move from a tab into the task database and vice versa. But it's just good because it helps me filter out through those things of like, are these actually action items? Like, is there anything I can actually do about this? But like, it helps get it out of my brain. Actually, I would really love to show you my Notion setup. So if you have any interest, please let me know below because then I'll know to prioritize filming that video. Related kind of is finding points of friction and then cutting them. For example, even just this morning, I needed to edit some short clips of the last podcast. And I came up to my desk to do it and I had stuff all over it. And how much easier, how much more would I have been able to get into the flow if my desk was clean and clear? If you want to cook more for yourself, but the air fryer, which is a very ADHD friendly like way to cook your food, but like, let's just say there's always stuff in front of it and you have to like move everything before you can get, like, you're not gonna use it. Minimize your routines. I think we've all done it. We've heard about like the crazy, how much time do I have? Oh, I have 10 minutes. This sucks. Okay. We've all heard about people with these like crazy morning routines. I used to be one of them. I used to have a morning routine that took like 3 hours. Literally. By the time I was done with it, I was like, oh, I felt like the day was over. And I hadn't even got started on like the things I actually needed to do. My morning routine now is crazy simple. I roll out of bed, I go to the bathroom, I make myself coffee, and then I take that coffee up to my desk and start working on this channel. Now, I'm not perfect at this, but days when it happens just like this, the best. There's actually science, I learned this from Rhea and Doris, that your like sleepy brainwaves or whatever, very similar to your like, I am out of time, I have to go soon. Your sleepy brainwaves are very similar to flow. So the smaller window you can have between waking up and like getting right into your most like vital work will help you just go into flow. And I found that like, yeah, if you just wake up, make coffee, and then get right to work, literally there is no time to argue with yourself about what to do, especially if you set it up the night before, which is another thing I want to talk about. Minimize your routines, but also be patient with yourself as you rebuild them. Remember when I said, if my morning goes exactly like that, because sometimes it doesn't. Part of my ideal morning routine is rinsing out my husband's like to-go dishes that he all took to work. He eats so much because he's, you know, in my ideal world, and I do this many nights a week, I will like rinse out his dishes and then get the dishwasher going overnight, right? Like a lot of us do that. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have a closing shift and I don't get home till 9:30. And the last thing I want to do is like literally anything productive. And so I found that if I don't do my proper evening routine, then I have to do that in the morning because he needs those dishes clean so he can blah, 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 blah. Point is, the goal is to make the nighttime dishwasher thing so habitual that every morning routine can be exactly the way that I like it. But unlike before, I'm not going to beat myself up about the fact that I'm not perfect about this yet. I literally we just got this dishwasher. I had never used a dishwasher in my life before this. What a game changer, honestly. Point is, yeah, minimize your routines, but give yourself time to figure it out and adjust them accordingly. Because if you start trying to build these habits, but then you're really like horrible to yourself about not being perfect with them, then it's just going to be harder and harder, and we don't want that. I had a session with like a spiritual teacher. He was awesome. Long story short, I have a lot of energetic cords tied to people that have been in my life, let's say. And he taught me this exercise where I try to release them. And I am telling you, I've been doing it, not every day because I'm not perfect, but like most days, where I try to cut these feelings of guilt and these cords that I have that where I try to like manage a certain person's like emotional, like I try to regulate their emotions from afar. As soon as I started cutting those cords, I felt some of my like power return. Similarly, I used to be in a relationship with someone that At the end of the day, like, I didn't actually trust them. And that was draining. Instead of like working on the things I wanted for myself, I was so obsessed over like keeping tabs on this person. That is draining. Give that person up to the universe or to God and call your power back to yourself. I can't elaborate right now because I have to go. I like literally have to go. This sucks. You need to uncover your limiting beliefs. You really do. Shadow work. I used to think shadow work was like, ooh, the shadow, you know? I was wrong, obviously. But it's all about uncovering the things that you believe deep down that you don't even know that you believe, but they are running you. And I swear this and like decluttering a bunch of my stuff has been the biggest boon to my productivity lately. Like, for example, a belief that I had was that like I wasn't good enough, or like this channel was a waste of time, or like I'd have wasted my time if I put all this effort into this channel and nothing ever came of it. And I had to face that I believed that deep down in order to combat that belief by recognizing, like, Danielle, even if nothing ever comes of this, like, you were having a good time. This is what you like to do. So it doesn't matter. You are not entitled to the fruits of your labor, only the labor. That's like a really bad paraphrase of maybe the Bhagavad Gita. I probably just butchered the F out of that. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I realized I had so many limiting beliefs about whether what I had to say was good enough, that, you know, if I had the audacity to think I deserved to have a YouTube channel, that people would all come out of the woodwork to be like, why do you think you should be telling anybody what to do? Or that, you know, if this YouTube channel didn't become a major success and my only source of income, then it was a failure and a waste of time. What? Like, I like doing this. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I literally have to go right this second. I love you so much. If you need anything, please comment it down below. If you have any requests, you know I respond to every single comment, and I will see you soon.